Hello, thanks for joining me, Nancy with North Star Ministry. So we're going to continue in the book of Matthew. I thought I had read Matthew chapter 2, but I didn't. We stopped just before chapter 1 ended, so I'm going to pick up where we left off there. But I will put a disclaimer out there because the Lord had let me know that there are a group of people who are just super, super triggered. Going back to what I had said the other day about this ex-boss and how he had been stealing. This person has I don't know. This person is completely unhinged. He's a very bitter man. I mean, I worked at that company 30 years ago. Can you imagine? I left there on, I think it was April the 12th, 1996. Because I got married, let's see, when it was November the 2nd, 1995. So I'd just been married and I was going to go off and start my new life and have my children. I always wanted to have scads of kids, but I only had the two. But anyway, so I left 30 years ago. Now, 5 years ago, there was a position open at that company. Wasn't the original company that I worked at before, but another one in Valencia, California. And so I went to see him. We had coffee for about an hour at a Starbucks in Chatsworth. But, the position had been filled, and that was fine. I was good with that, It was Mother's Day weekend. I was going to go see my mom, so that was fine. I figured I would do something else because I'm super creative. Anyway, this person, ever since then, my car had been broken into. I was stalked. People were following me, breaking into my office, into my storage, into a woman ran me off the road, tried to get me in an accident. I mean, literally took the wheel. At first, it was a car full of these young kids, maybe 4 of them. They looked like they were in their late 20s, honking the horn a whole lot. And I looked over, and they were laughing. They were laughing. They were side by side. We were going about 60 miles per hour on that highway. And so they sped off, and right in their place was a woman, a blonde woman who looked at me, came right alongside me, side by side, and took her steering wheel and just made a hard left and pushed me off the road, literally. I mean, luckily I'm a really good driver, have good fast reflexes, and I recovered myself on the road there. But tried to deliberately, she ran me off the road. And then when I recovered, I honked my horn. I thought that was crazy. It was so random. And then she had gone in front of me and applied the brakes. I mean, just completely applied the brakes. And once again, I had to go off the road. I was hoping the man behind me, which was in a truck, didn't rear end me, But just crazy stuff like that. Sticking a note in my door, going and getting into my storage unit, where there was a t-shirt, a really ugly mustard colored t-shirt. I mean, I'm the only one that had access to my storage, so it was really strange how that t-shirt could get in my storage. But, it was this ugly mustard colored t-shirt, with a big giant eyeball, and it said loser, in snakes, it was all really dirty and grimy. It was a man's shirt. And I thought, how could that get in my storage? Now I'm the only one that had access to my storage. And you needed an access, a 5-digit access code to enter into the building, and then, or the storage area, and then you needed another access code to enter into the building, and then you needed the key, the double keys to access the unit itself. So it was just very strange back then when that happened. But ever since that day, I have been stalked down at the pier. Very, very obvious to me. People coming over, asking questions, and then reporting back to someone. They get on their phones and just stuff like that. Really crazy. And I knew that I had been stalked, followed, and even here in this mobile home complex, I believe that the same man, this ex-boss, who's got a strange obsession with my life, because he offered me, because of my energy signature. See, he had been siphoning off my energy and manifesting a lot of wealth. And it was powering up a whole lot of people's livelihoods. They were stealing my gifts and my blessings, my essence. They were using my light signature. and my godlike essence to power up all these. He created an empire over everything that I had, businesses and things like this, and draining me. They all thought they could drain me, keep me stuck, because by keeping me stuck and drained, they were winning. They were making out financially. That's how they do it. Okay, these people, these masons that practice dark arts, they're energy harvesters. And people need to wake up and know that. I will continue to put this out there to make people aware of this. But this in particular person, the Lord had been getting my attention to let me know, and I want the authorities to know this as well. Just for my own protection, I have to put this out there. But he wanted everybody to judge me. That's why he had slandered me and had a whole lot of people that he paid to constantly plant seeds of doubt about me in people's ears. Over years, he did this, okay? He's very bitter and he's got a grudge. He's very unhinged. He's very psycho right now, walking around with entity attachments because of all of the backfired spell work and black magic that he has sent towards me. This person has done a lot. And he's part of a couple. He's with somebody that looks like me. I believe this person used to work at the same company that he worked at in Valencia, California. It's an aerospace distributor. And these are Masons, okay? She may have been from Human Resources, but I don't even think she was a she. I think she was a transgender, really a man underneath it all. Just somebody who dressed as a woman, a cross-dresser, maybe transgender, I don't know. But passed herself off as me, has been using my identity and pretending to be me. And these people are hackers. They steal people's identities, and they commit all kinds of theft and fraud. And it's all about money. He's a real big opportunist, always trying to make money. That's all these people ever think about. Well, this person that he gave my identity to use it to, what they did is they paired my phone and were intercepting any opportunities that would come to me or that were meant for me. They were stealing those, and she was showing up as me and accepting on my behalf. So this disclaimer, I want people to know, nobody speaks for me. I have not ever given anybody permission to speak on my behalf, ever, at any time. No one speaks for me, and no one signs anything for me on my behalf. No one has power of attorney over my life or finances. Nobody has a guardianship. It is all null and void. If there are any agreements out there that were made without my knowledge or consent, these dark demonic agreements are canceled. They are null and void. They are fraud. And I want the authorities to know this. I am not part of any organization, of any Masons, of any affiliations. I have no denominations. I'm not part of anyone's group chat, or whatever you want to call it. And I do not work with people, okay? I just have it's just me, North Star Ministry, okay? These people have, this man has stolen all my intellectual property. These are hackers, professional hackers, okay? This is what they do to make money. They steal from other people. Your livelihood, your intellectual property, your ideas, your aspirations. They get in there, they hack everything that you have. And they study you by stalking you, by putting cameras and illegal listening devices and monitoring devices and tracking devices on your car. They listen, they study your every move, they study how you speak, your routines, where you go, what you like, everything about you. This went on for a couple of years. He had this person was coaching her and training, or I call it a her, but it's really a him. He's gay. The ex-boss, he's gay. He's on the down low. He's gay. He hates women. All right, make no mistake, this man hates women. He may have been married numerous times, whatever, but he hates women. It's all a front, okay? But he's psycho, very obsessed with destroying my life. I don't know why that is. I've never dated this person. We've never had intercourse or sex or anything. This person has lied on my name. He just picked me out of the hat, I think, because of my energy signature. He saw that I was an easy target. That's what he thought. Okay. You know, this is a big lesson for this person. You never judge a book by its cover, okay? You got to read the book. This person never even took the time to get to know me. He had no idea how strong I am inside. He just didn't know. And he does, I don't care that he knows. He has no business knowing me to begin with. I'm very selective about who I allow to even know me. But he obsessed with punishing me, obsessed with teaching me a lesson. This has been going on for 4 to 5 years, and he has been stalking me even longer. Okay, wanted my gifts, was very jealous of my confidence, my stamina, my energy, my positivity, my resilience. I guess maybe I was the things that he wasn't. Maybe that's what the problem was. But instead of working on himself, he just tried to push me down because it made him feel more powerful, having domination. That's sick. All that is cowardice. It's cowardice. There's nothing to be proud of there. All your wealth was stolen. There's no pride there. There's nothing to be proud of. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Condemning me, constantly damaging my credibility, trying to destroy my reputation. I've never done anything to this person. He was my boss for 14 years when I worked there. And we never had anything. We never dated, nothing. Okay. And he doesn't believe in God. Okay. So, but that's, not to each their own. What's that to do with me? But he hates me and what I stand for because I'm a woman of faith. This is a bigot. Okay. Plus I'm brown skin and, the person that he's with, I think, is brown skin only because it had to be somebody that resembled me. I don't know if that person takes Botox or had any kind of surgery done to resemble me, cosmetic surgery perhaps or something, but she passes herself off as me. Okay, so they're thieves. They commit fraud, identity theft and fraud. Okay, but he's constantly tried to have me in a constant state of struggle, putting me in crisis or danger. That is what this person has done. And he doesn't let go of my energy. He just won't stop. He just doesn't stop. So I need the authorities to keep an eye on this individual. He's an ex-boss, an ex-employer at an aerospace distributor, and he needs to leave me alone. He's done enough damage to me and my sons. I want him to be leaving us alone. He's in despair now. I'm very concerned because I'm being recognized. I'm being honored in some places. This person has a problem with that. You see the jealousy there? He's gotten many people to judge me based on lies and slander because of his jealousy, his deep insecurity. He's got a lot of unhealed wounds, childhood wounds maybe. But spying, stalking, it keeps investigating. And what he had done was he worked with some family members and got them to agree and go on the bandwagon. They wanted to have me put away. They were all, the family members have been, cousins and relatives and siblings have been receiving money off of my inheritance trust fund that I was supposed to receive when I was much younger. I haven't received a dime of my trust fund. They kept this information from me. They kept the documents from me. They didn't want to know my true identity. They kept everything from me and kept me under. These people are dark practitioners. This man, he's a Mason. These Masons, I had some cousins on my dad's side of the family that were also Masons. This ex-boss was part of a sex cult. And so they deceive people, but they using manipulation, creating illusions. It's all lies, fabrications. He had a lot of money to use to get the best software, AI, digital technology to create my my signature, my imprint. He created a digital imprint of my energy signature within the system. And he worked with a judge, a woman judge that he was having an affair with. He uses everybody to get his way, okay? And he does it a lot of times through that method, okay? But she had the ability to create authentic documents that were authentic because of her position. She was able to do that. But it was all false allegations, false reports about me to flood the system so that my name would pop up in a negative light. These people, what they were doing was trying to cover up their crimes of theft, identity theft and fraud, embezzlement, racketeering, you name it, grand larceny, sex trafficking. That's what they were into. This dark sex cult of Masons, a secret society. I don't know how many were involved. They're in different states, but what they did was they had a big campaign against my life. Okay, they wanted to offer me up as a sacrifice to this cult for my light. And no, they may not. I'm divinely protected, as they now know. I said it from day one. These people just wouldn't stop. Can you imagine? I'm on a daily barrage of attacks by all these people, spiritual attacks, and they don't stop. Okay, but anyway, they're currently doing root work on me, trying to have sex with me in the astral plane. Isn't that disgusting? And but he had been going back and forth for 2 years to a judiciary. There was a court case, and he kept making false judgments on me in court, because by doing that, he was attaching a cord to my energy. And every time he would do that to constantly get me in a negative light, he was able to manifest wealth. They were making out on doing this, on causing delays, on causing struggle, on keeping me stuck. Okay, it's really sick what they were doing, but he has just an obsession with my life. Anyway, but I worked with family members. Family members, can you believe they worked with a doctor, a Dominican Republic doctor? Okay, and this is what the Lord was letting me know. They wanted to get me put away. They were working their latest target, or what they were trying to do was to have me institutionalized, put away, and under a doctor's care. So that, because they felt that I needed my medicine. We all know what that means, right? You remember Diana Spencer, Princess Diana, on that, when she was in that car accident, and they had that doctor, when nobody was looking, and who knows if she would have survived. Yeah, they gave her medicine. I mean, let's face it, that's what they do. They want to get rid of you. They're going to inject you with something, right? And this man had a whole plan that he'd worked on to have me sexually violated and videotaped, tortured, okay, and then unalived, and then to sell my organs to the highest bidder. That's how sick these people are, obsessed with money. It's all about money. And sex trafficking, because everything is to do with sex within those sex cults, okay? That's how they manifest the wealth. They do one another. These people are sick with AIDS and everything. It's really disgusting. But he even infiltrated my family members, siblings, and childhood friends and contacts on my Facebook. I mean, they did the most, right? But a very jealous, envious sibling who was threatened by my light, okay, wanted control, also plotted to delay my blessings under a fake mask of concern, okay, and those are the worst kind, when they fake all this kindness and they pretend to love you, and then you find out, no, it's all it's all fake, okay, lied about me and worked with people behind my back and made a shocking deal, so promised something using my name and my energy and my essence, my gifts and my destiny that would change and alter my destiny. That can never happen. That can never happen. These people don't know God. And although I forgive, because they know not what they do, but they've chosen the dark side and they're all under judgment. It's a very tragic thing. But it did this without my knowledge, without my permission, without even contacting me or calling me or asking me, how are you doing? Nothing. They just arbitrarily met. They had been having meetings to discuss me without me even being there. That's how terrible this jealousy is. Such a poison. Jealousy and envy are just two huge poisons. But all of them wanted to harm me and delay me and distract me by gossip, by plots, uh, and altering documents, removing my name and putting hers, and messing with my timeline and hoping I would miss my timeline, my appointed time. They did all these things to create my downfall, prayed for my downfall. It's really sick, and people that you feel that you love, that are in your family. You feel family should always have your best interests at heart, right? Always look out for you. No, no, that's not how it actually is. It's really sad. But constant spiritual attacks. Yeah, they were getting financial fulfillment by keeping me stuck all along. So I've cut them all off. They're all cut off my energy. I release them with love, light, and peace, but they are completely blocked. All of my family members, completely blocked. Everyone I've known from childhood, any high school acquaintances, any ex-coworkers, they are completely and absolutely blocked every which way. They're cut off and kicked out of my energy, permanently and forever banished. Okay, well, nothing to do with anybody like that would do this kind of thing behind my back. That's a huge deceptive betrayal. It doesn't get any worse than that. But thought they could rise by pushing me down. That's the level of jealousy. Okay, and tried to set me up in a trap that they didn't want me to know about. They thought that I would never find out that they were plotting for months with a group of people, some siblings, some relatives, an ex-coworker and his copycat, that transgender woman that looks like me, a Hispanic, who's really a man, I think, from that took a position that was meant for me. They intercepted phone calls and opportunities that people were trying to reach out to me. They directed the calls to her. So she was receiving my opportunities, my texts, my messages. I wasn't receiving anything at all. And so people thought they were dealing with me through this person. She claimed she was working for me or something like that, or she was just passing herself off as me. They thought that they were dealing with me, but no, they're dealing with somebody, a dark practitioner of dark arts, a Mason, a Luciferian. I think these people that offered her this position, it may have been a spiritual position. They may have thought that they were dealing with some person of faith. No, those people, and this copycat took a large sum of money under false pretenses, making it look like she was me. And they hired her, and she had that position. I don't know now if they can tell that it's not me. Okay, I don't work with anybody, and nobody speaks on my behalf. So, but they stole all my content, and they were passing it off as theirs, repackaging it. That's what this ex-boss did. He had all these people stealing my content, all my ideas, all my everything, my words, my characters, my characteristics, wearing my energy and acting like me and making money. Okay, so I'm just letting you know, if you were out there thinking you were dealing with me, no, you've been snookered and duped. And these people took money under false pretenses. This is really a transgender man who, I believe, a copycat who pretends to be me, and his lover, that ex-boss from that company. And it's just, that's what they do. They make... But because of all these crimes that were committed, they're trying to cover it up, right? So they're all having these meetings to how they can cover up the crimes, get her put away, have her institutionalized, make all these false allegations and reports about her, discredit her, besmirch her reputation, let's assassinate her character, discredit her so that nobody believes her. And then they put their crimes on me. You see how they scapegoat? This is what these Masons do. It's all about projection. This is what they always do. They project their evil, toxic lifestyle onto an innocent person that doesn't have anything to do with a toxic lifestyle at all. I'm anointed, appointed, sealed, and sent by Almighty God above. And these people know it. And that's why they want me gone. These are haters of light, haters of God's light, okay? But at the same time, they want to harness my light These are soulless beings, but they're on their way to hell. Hell enlarges itself to meet these people at their coming, okay? Nobody gets away with anything. But that's what they were doing. They were working with a doctor from the Dominican Republic, probably. I don't know, he's foreign, right? This doctor, was he European? No. Was he from Eastern Europe, Russian or Polish? No. Was he was Polish? No. Was he Dominican Republic? Yes. Dominican Republic. And what did they want him to do? He was a handler? Was he a Mason? Is he a Mason? Had he done this before? Yeah, he'd been doing this before for Masons, works for Masons. When they have someone they want to get rid of, somebody they want to disappear, right? Okay, so what kind of medicine? He just injects them, keeps them addicted to some kind of drug so that they are completely controlled. And then they wanted to sex traffic me. And that's what they do with women that are out there against their will. They have abducted many women, and they are harvesting their energy and manifesting wealth off of these women. Is that sick? And children. These are sex traffickers. Okay, and so this doctor, was he a practitioner of dark arts too? Yeah, he's the Mason. So were they working with family members in Simi Valley? Yes, some family members. All of them? No. Some. Yes. And this ex-boss, was it his idea? He knew this man. Yeah. He knew this man. And so he thought by coming up with this idea, they could have enough false allegations, flood the system about me, and present it to a court and have me locked up, put away. And then they can continue to steal the rest of my ancestral inheritance. Was that the motive? To steal my ancestral inheritance. Okay, no, that's mine. Sorry, you may not have that. That's reserved for me by Almighty God, and all of you are under complete judgment by Almighty God. Probably going through your towers now because it's Judgment Day. So that's what they were doing. Doctor working with my family. This ex-boss wanted me put away so they could have me institutionalized, and under this doctor's care, they could steal my inheritance. And ultimately, did they plan on sex trafficking me? Yeah, they wanted to sex traffic me and harvest off my energy. These people are sick. Sex boss and copycat bought a house under my name somewhere with money that they illegally made from sex trafficking me on the dark web. They lied about, they put cameras in my home at one point. Now, I was married for 23 years. So after the divorce, I dated somebody maybe 3 years ago for about 4 months. But we did not have a spiritual connection, so that just didn't go anywhere for me. But we did date. But during that time, they put cameras in my home. Isn't that sick? And then they put that on the dark web, and we're making money. Did they do that on OnlyFans too? But this man also made a whole lot of pictures, fake pictures, right? Using a body double, someone that looked like me, and using AI technology, digital technology, to make it look like I was doing things that I was never doing, right? What did he do with the pictures? Was that just for court? That was for court. So he could gain, is that when he gained power of attorney over my finances? Was he working with that female judge at the time? The one he was having sex with. Okay, and was she the one that made all those fraudulent documents that looked authentic? They had the seals and everything. She flooded the system over a period of how long? Like months? Was it more than 6 months? Like, was it more than a year? No. Okay, more than 6 months, but less than a year. Okay, that's what they were doing to try to. So that makes sense. Because I know that, was it 3 years ago when I went to pay my registration at the DMV, and the lady behind the counter said, "Ma'am, are you aware that your license has been suspended?" And I said, "No, why?" And she said, "Because it says here that your license was revoked in Arizona due to criminal activity." And I said, "I've never committed a crime in my life, and I've never lived in Arizona." And I hadn't even been to Arizona since the days that I worked at that company years and years ago, because that was part of my territory. But I've never gotten a ticket in Arizona or anything. So somebody was running around with my driver's license, with the driver's license under my name. Okay. And then when I went to buy tires at Ramona Tires, and they brought up my account, because I had a card there, I was buying new tires. It said that I lived in Arizona. I've never lived in Arizona. So my identity had been stolen. But it took 3 months of working with this level 1 investigator at the DMV in Arizona and Sacramento for them to reinstate my license. You see, but that's what they had been doing. This man had done all kinds of criminal things using my ID, because I worked there for 14 years. He had my personal private information. You never think they're going to use it for this kind of thing. But and back then I didn't even know he was a Mason. I didn't even know about Masons back then. I didn't know about all this witchcraft movement and all that. I didn't know about that until he began attacking me and stalking me and following me. And, you don't know about these things until you're actually a target and you've been attacked. They've been attacking me left and right for years now, every day. It's abuse. But anyway, I have to put it out there because they were planning. This was something that they were working on. They thought that they could continue to steal my inheritance and to get rid of me altogether by creating enough false, fraudulent reports about me, and which is all a bunch of lies, and flood the system so my name would pop up and they could have me arrested. This man had worked so hard on how they could get rid of me. It's just sick, twisted. One of the things that he did, one of the sick, twisted plots that this ex-boss had, because all this magic was backfiring, right? Because I'm divinely protected. I'm divinely protected, okay? And God has me here for a purpose. It's just that, God's elector here on the earth at this time, because prophecy is rolling out and being fulfilled in our day, okay? And so, but one of his plots was to unleash something unforgettable. He worked on this. He worked on multiple ways of trying to corner me, trying to bury me, trying to destroy me. This man is demonically possessed, okay? I hate to say it, but when you got somebody doing this to you, and they don't stop, at some point you have to realize you're dealing with somebody who's not all there. How this person could get so many people wrapped up and falling for it and doing what he wants them to do. This is a demonically possessed person, okay? That's all I gotta say. He prepared for a confrontation. This is what he had tried to do. Got out to people in my community here where I live, this mobile home community, paid a lot of people to be handlers. He contracted with a lot of people to keep an eye on every move I make and report back to him. And so no surprise, I'm used to this kind of thing, but he was preparing for a confrontation. He wanted to elicit a negative response from me so that he could take it to the court and say, "See, I told you this is the kind of person that kind of thing." But wanted an audience for impact. Okay, this person practiced and rehearsed what he was going to say, exactly what he was going to do, and how it was going to go. This person practices in front of his mirror, okay? Practices and rehearses what he's going to do. And by the way, that transgender person that he's with, the woman that was working in human resources at that company that looks like me, that had, I don't know if she had cosmetic surgery. Did she have cosmetic surgery to look like me? And Botox? Yeah. That is the weirdest thing. Did she work in human resources? at that aerospace distributor in Valencia. Yeah, but now she's working for, is it a religious group? No, but it's like a spiritual group. And they have hired her thinking that she's me. Or do they just think that she works with me? No, they think she's me. They actually think she's me. And they paid her a lot of money up front, right? So this woman took money up front, and she's paid a salary. Do these people know that they're dealing with the fraud now? Are they figuring it out? They're kind of figuring it out. The truth, I shed light on the truth. May the truth be exposed and revealed. These people are frauds. They're not any spiritual people. They've been stealing my content, using my words, wearing my energy, my characteristics, my voice, my essence, and going out there and pretending to be me. There's a copycat. That's what they do. And then they live your life, receiving your gifts, receiving your opportunities, your blessings. They steal. These are thieves. There's no honor in thieving. Okay, but anyway, this it was a humiliation event that they were planning right here where I live. They planned very carefully for many months. This person is a planner. He dots the I's and crosses the T's. He's a planner. Okay, it was a targeted setup. And it was calculated, it was orchestrated, had everybody got paid to partake in this, and he slandered my name, persuaded everyone that I was living this kind of vile, sick, sleazy lifestyle, and no, that's his lifestyle. But he spread lies. This is what the devil does. He's a liar and the father of it. The master deceiver, father of lies. There's not an iota of truth in people that walk in darkness, okay, that are liars like this. But he planned thoroughly, and he wanted to have authorities on site. So he wanted to have convincing local authorities that I was doing these things, committing crimes. He wanted to have the authorities on site to arrest me. That's what they were planning to do. Plotted in the shadows with several people to make it all happen, and they chose the time and the place this would happen. And he wanted to create a tapestry of false assumptions that he could pass off as lies to break my peace. He wanted to break my peace. He hates that I have peace and the joy of the Lord. He hates my light, okay? This is the devil, a demon, or a demon-possessed person. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, fallen angel, whatever you want to call it. But but these people are all profiting off of my skills, my resources, my energy, my creativity, my intellectual property, which they hacked. They are professional hackers, thieves, okay? And my name. And I was cloned so that someone else could live my life as me. That's a copycat right now. There's a couple of copycats, actually. It's not the only one. Using my essence, identity, and energy, which was harvested and shared among this cult. And they made sure I would be kept in the dark. They assumed I would never find out. And he pulled strings, orchestrated lies, made backdoor deals with dark forces working against me, with people he paid off in the judiciary and in law enforcement to get his way, including that judge. And the judge has a daughter possibly, or somebody that works in the mailroom that prevented me from receiving any mail from the court. She was paid, the court clerk was paid to make sure my mail went to him, all the checks, any money. And did he also say that I was incapable, mentally incapable of my finances? So he had power of attorney. Okay, did he also say that he was a caregiver? Was he receiving checks as a caregiver for me as well? This man is a liar. And there's somebody else out there that said that she was my birth mother. No, that's a lie too. Several people. Their schemes are all exposed, okay? A mother, it could be the dark practicing witch on my dad's side of the family, her and her mother. That also, was it that who it was? The dark practicing witch on my dad's side of the family? But that's not the one with the letter M. No, that's the cousin that I do not know, right? And is her dad's name Ralph? Uncle Ralph. I never knew him. But is he still alive? No. Yeah, all my dad's brothers died, I think, pretty much. Um, but anyways, the cousins, oh, and her mother. Her mother claims that she's my birth mother. No, she's not. Was she receiving checks as a caregiver under false, once again, so many lies were told. Okay. But they really thought that they would keep me in the dark about all of this. But the deals, the lies, the fraud, the theft, corruption, and deception, they're all unraveling. Everything's coming out in the open. It's Judgment Day. Everything done in darkness is brought out to the light. And I'm the one who brings it out. So buck stops with me. This ends with me. I hope the authorities that are listening to this, I hope that they really look into a lot of these things, because it's a lot. And it's numerous people. It's a lot. But to date, I have not received one dime of my ancestral inheritance. And I want to tell you something. That inheritance is tied to spiritual assignments that God had for me. So that needs to make its way towards me. Not one person from the court had ever reached out, because these people were blocking. Are they still blocking my phone? No, my phone is not blocked anymore. My phone is not blocked anymore. But every so often I'll get a phone call from Los Angeles. When I answer it, it says goodbye, and it hangs up. Goodbye, and it hangs up. And there's nobody there. So I don't know what that's about, but just to let you know, they can no longer block my phone, but yeah, they have been blocking. If authorities wanted to reach out and contact me, these people were blocking. If there was anybody interested in speaking to me about an opportunity, they were blocking that and stealing those opportunities. If I was invited anywhere, they were stealing the invitation and showing up instead of me. So these people had done the most, and they even accepted money under false pretenses. Do they have a YouTube channel right now where they are putting my content out there? They're pretending that it's them, but they're not me. This man repackages my intellectual property, and then he steals it, makes money off it by repackaging it, and he's got a whole PR team out there. Is that what he has? And that's what they're fake. These are frauds. All right, so you know. So I know that they want to hurt me and all that, but you know, as I've said before, I don't walk in fear, and I'm surrounded by holy fire. In a circle of holy fire, you will get burned if you even dare think about trying to come towards me with bad intentions. You know what I said before? That's very true. Okay. So, okay. Well, this segment was about 42 minutes. This is a disclaimer, so I'll just keep it short and put this out there, and then I will come back and we begin with Matthew, where we left off. All right. So peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Bye.